Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most important aspects of inspection and explorers, and that is shining your boots. So to begin, I'm going to explain my process of doing things and the equipment I use. And that consists of just 5 items. It's your boots, a hair tie, a cloth like a old cotton t-shirt or a rag, your Kiwi Shine, and an ice cube. To begin, you're going to take your cloth, take a dry part of it, and especially after a meeting or a ride along, your boots are going to be dirty. So you're going to take that cloth just to rub over all over your boot, get that grime, that dirt off. And if there's parts of the boot that are especially dirty with dirt or grime, I like to wet a portion of my cloth and use that to really rub all that dirt out. So you'll go over the boot, all over, just cleaning that. And then once that's completed, you'll be ready to start the process of shining your boot. So the first step after cleaning your boot is you'll take your cloth that you have, fold it up like so, take your hair tie, get that over it, so that way you have a nice flat surface to work with and your hair tie can just hold it all together. And then comes the ice cube. Now the reason for the ice cube is because if you just take your cloth and go into that polish, go over your boot, over time, that cloth is going to become brittle and hard and it's just going to end up damaging your boot. So by using the ice cube, before putting the shine on, if you just rub that cloth over that, you'll get your cloth nice and soft. Not soaked, because if it's soaked, you're going to leave streak marks, but if you get it nice and soft, you'll have a nice, constant, soft cloth to work with to rub your polish over to use in shining your boots. So like so, you'll see it's starting to look a little wet there, and that's good for me. That's nice and soft, and then I can go straight to my polish. So gauging how much polish to use. If you look here, it's a little thin. I'll get a little more. Like this, a nice, good amount, a fingerprint's worth is what I call it, onto your cloth. You don't ever want to put too much polish onto your cloth, because the more polish you put onto your boot, the harder you're going to have to work to buff that out, to get that shine out. So by putting a good amount like so, a nice thin layer, you'll be able to go over that boot, put a layer on, and then buff that shine out and go straight into the next layer. And the process of which begins like so. You'll take your amount right here and just rub straight over that boot. All over the sides, especially the front. If any part is the most important, it's the front, but you want to make sure that you get the sides as well. And you'll rub small circles of that polish that you've got. Now with new boots, this process is going to take you hours. So I suggest doing this every day in preparation for our next meeting. And as a white shirt, you're going to have new boots, so you're not going to have a layer on top to gauge when to put your next layer of shine on. So it's especially difficult in the beginning because you don't know when to decide, okay, I've buffed it in enough, I'm going to go to my next layer. So for consistency, I like to rub it in for about 5 to 10 minutes, or at least 5 minutes starting for the one layer. Because in the beginning, you're not going to be able to tell when you rub in that layer if you've buffed it out. Because as you can see, I already had a layer of shine on. So when you put that polish on, it'll turn into a matte black. You rub that polish on, it'll turn into a matte black. It'll be dull. And then once that matte black has gone away and you can start to see your shine come through, then you know when to go to the next layer. So in the beginning, just know that as you put your polish on, you really need to rub that in before you go to your next coat. Because if you just put on a layer and you don't rub it in all the way, and then you go to your next layer and you put it on and you don't rub it in all the way, you're not gonna be able to buff a shine out at all. So you wanna make sure you take the time to rub in each and every layer that you put onto your boot. So for me, I'm just gonna summarize now exactly what you need to do. You'll have your boots here, you'll clean it up with your cloth, get it all ready to go to get shined. You'll get your cloth ready with the hair tie, get it nice and soft with your ice cube, get a fingerprint's worth of polish, and then get to rubbing in those layers on your boot. And then once you know that you've gotten your layer on and you buffed it in enough and you want to go to your next coat, you'll stop, get your cloth soft with that cube, get a fingerprint's amount of shine onto your cloth, and then go straight into the next layer. So remember, this is going to take time, so make sure to get this started and dialed as soon as you can. Get it done as soon as you can.